Thank you, Tulia. I have an introduction for the next lady, which I'm going to start, and then I'm going to add to it. So the next one is Sabine Holbrook. She's a business and marketing degree from Oregon in the USA. She's responsible for business and private customers. She describes herself as being brave, focused, reliable, and able to work under pressure. She's also a biker. She races bikes professionally. She's been part of an international ad campaign for Tag Heuer. She's a mother of 2 teenagers. She says she believes in making life a ride. And this lady is with us today after 16 weeks ago suffering an extremely serious accident that saw her 10 weeks in hospital. So the very fact she's with us today is something to be celebrated. So please welcome on stage Sabine Holbrook. So I believe we're going to start with a video. Is that right, Sabine?
My heart starts beating faster. Riding is one of the first thoughts in the morning and one of the last before going to sleep. This is what my life is all about. My life is a permanent race in which every second has a meaning. From time to time, you will find me slowing down in my kitchen, cooking for my friends and family that helps me to find balance, to refocus and fuel up before the next race. My work offers me a lot of freedom. I live for my passion. Being creative and working with an emotional product stirs something somewhere deep inside of me. There's a lot of pressure on me. Sports help me to find my balance, exhaust myself, and bring harmony into my mind. We all have dreams, but in order to make dreams come true, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. Racing is like a drug you can't just turn your back on. You can never walk away from it.
First, I have to give her a hug. Thank you. Sit down. Isn't it amazing? I met her just briefly, and I was introduced to her by another amazing friend, a speaker from our event last year who became a friend, Kamalis Lardi. And Kamalis one day called me and said, "You have to meet this girl." And I say, "Okay." Kamalis says that, "You have to, you have to." So we had, and the interesting thing is that I called her and we had a chat and I explained, I'm doing this event, maybe you'd be interested, let's talk. And she said, yes, where do you live? And I was a little bit, I live in Bülach. Okay, I can go there. And I said, where's this girl coming from? Because this is not normal in this part of the world. And I said, okay, you can come to my place. And I was thinking to myself, she might be very interesting or she might be very weird. And she ended up to be an amazing lady. We had a very great conversation from the first time. And when we were preparing for this here, we decided, let's not prepare anything. Let's just talk. But now I introduce you, Sabine, and I asked her to tell us who is Sabine and how Sabine got into this crazy racing life.
Yes, it's...
Do you hear her? Is she connected? Yes. No, I think she's connected now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Now.
Well, I guess I was always a little bit different, at least that's what my mom says. When I was little, I was always playing with cars and motorcycles, and I was playing with the boys' cards, you know, when you compare how much horsepower a car has or a bike has. And when I was doing sports, it always had to be physical and not kind of normally what girls do. So my mom always said, please, go and dance, please. And I still don't like to dance. Like you saw, everybody was dancing. I was not.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, but my dad died when I was really young, when I was 10, and so I had no chance to ever ride a motorcycle or even a scooter or something little when I was young. So I decided, okay, if I'm not allowed to, I'll just use 2 wheels. So I jumped on a bike. I was racing on a velo, on a bicycle, for lots of years until I got into an accident. I had to stop. I retired.
From the beginning, how old were you at the time?
I was 14 when I started, and when I retired, I was 26.
Okay.
But since I did sports my whole life, it felt really, really, really weird when I was not training professionally anymore, and my life was super empty. And I got really weird, actually, me personally.
Because you told me that you decided not doing sport anymore. You went to the proper job in a corporate world and
Yes.
being a very good professional.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, I was working first of all for a fashion company, American Apparel. I was the international expansion manager, so I was traveling the world. I was opening up stores. I was scouting the stores. I was preparing all the paperwork for them to see if it's going to work or not. And it was very interesting. And but at some point, I don't know. We opened up together 75 stores within 5 years, so I was never at home. Some morning I woke up in a hotel and I was asking myself, where am I? In which country am I? And I don't know. Then I decided I think I need to settle a little bit more for my kids as well. I got an offer to manage one of the biggest real estate portfolios that was in Frankfurt, so I was in charge of 1.1 million square meters leasable or rentable area.
Wow.
That was interesting as well. But like I said, basically you have no life if you have jobs like this. And I don't know. I was very successful. I guess I was doing my job well because, yes, the portfolio got sold as one of the best ones ever. But at some point, I told them, you know what? You can give the job to somebody else. I don't want it anymore. So I sold my house. I gave up my job, and I moved to Switzerland. And yes, and I decided I just want to buy a bike.
Just simple like that, no?
Yes.
I leave everything, I just want to buy a bike. And then, what happened?
I want to buy a bike and I want to ride motorcycle. Just like this, I decided I want to live my life now. It's time to focus on me. And yes.
The motorcycle.
Yes, I wanted to have a bike my whole life, and I never did because there was no time, no money. I was not allowed to from my mom, and all kinds of circumstances.
But tell us, how was this? And then you started from amateur, I guess, or you just.
Well, I never sat on a motorcycle ever before.
Okay.
But to make sure that nobody's going to interrupt with my plans, I first of all bought a bike, and then I made my license.
You see, that goes back to Jane. Act first, no?
And act first and then think, okay?
Yes.
Well, I kind of did that way, and my motorcycle teacher said, well, Sabine, you have a lot of talent, but you have such a bad temper, so please, in this time, don't act first and think. Please go and have a security training. If not, you're going to kill yourself, okay? Well, I listened to him for once in my life. I listened to somebody, and I did this exactly 1 week later. And after that training, we were allowed to go on the racetrack for one single lap. And they were going so slow, it was unbelievable. I could not stand it.
But you say we, who are we?
The people that also did the training and the ones that wanted to go also on one round. And like I said, they were going so slow, I could not stand it, so I broke all rules. I overtook on this lap, and it was totally forbidden, and I got in gigantic trouble, like you can imagine, and la, big story. They hate me still until now. But from that day on, I knew exactly what was my new hobby.
Okay.
Yes.
But then you had to make this new hobby to become a profession. How was this process?
Well, I normally don't do things just a little bit. I'm a little bit obsessive, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, well, too bad it was October, so you can't ride motorcycles in the winter, so I had to wait until next spring. And like I said, I'm a little bit crazy, so I started in March. 9th of March was the first nice day in 2009, and I got my bike out and I started, and it didn't work well. It was still too cold. I had a bad crash. I had to wait a whole year until I could walk and ride again.
Oh my God.
Well,
Rushing up.
the teacher was right, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, and 2010, I finally took it a little bit easier and with a little bit more concept. And I started with instructors, you know, step by step, learning how to do this. And yes, I was learning quite fast. And 2011, I was starting to do my first amateur races. 2012, I won my first races.
Wow.
2013, I won my first race in a European Cup. And 2014, we decided to go professional because I had a lot of trouble when I was racing in amateur class.
Yes, tell us this, because this is an interesting story you told me.
You know, the guys don't like it a lot when they get overtaken by a woman. It has a little bit to do with, I guess, ego, and especially when they see the long blonde hair in the back, they say either they kill themselves or, you know, they even bet every second they go slower. In the evenings, the bets are out. Every second they go slower, they have to pay 100 euros or 100 Swiss francs into a pot and things like this. So it gets really crazy and really dangerous. And I had lots of accidents where people actually run on purpose into me. And that one race that I was just talking about that I won, we were actually over the finish line, and that guy that was second ran into me, and we both crashed with over 240 kilometers, just because he didn't accept. Yes, and he didn't accept, and it was his pride was hurt terribly that I won this race, and we either had to move to a different continent. Like in the US, it's not such a big deal to race there because they're more open to it, or we had to move up to the professional class because, you know, it's a little bit more accepted and, you know, it's a little bit different because it's highly professional and a lot of money is involved, and yes. So that's how it came.
It's clear for all of us that it's a very male-dominated world.
100%.
And how do you manage? And how that might be a tough girl. Oh my God. And how is your daily life with this? And what do you have to do? Because you need sponsors, you need people to support you, and because even if you can show your qualities, your strengths, because, and also I remember you telling me that besides you have the physical strength, like that you don't have.
Yeah, I'm a woman. At the end, I'm always a woman.
With the men, even like from the fact that you're a woman, it's already in a disadvantage for you, and naturally, and also you are a slim woman.
Yes, I'm.
Yeah, so that is a tough part for you as well. That you have to work more, big bites, heavy weight, and plus all the rest. How is your daily life to deal with all of this?
Just to give an example, how it is in my world. Put Roger Federer on a tennis court, and put Serena Williams, who's the strongest and most physical tennis player out there. If you put her out there with Roger Federer, she's going to look like she has never played tennis in her life before. And that's what I have to face every single time I go out there and race with the guys, because I'm the only woman out there. And there's no championship for women or anything. So I have to try to be physically as fit as a man, what is never going to be possible. So I will never be a world championship. I will never be a world champion or whatever. But if I make it or manage it to be in the top 15, it's an amazing result. Because in my championship, the first 10 race in the world championship as set racers. They have support by factories, they have money, they have professional support, everything. So my daily life basically looks like this. I get up really early in the morning before the rest of my family gets up. I make breakfast for my kids. I send them off to school. I normally go to work. I work part-time, 50% I still work. My big dream is that I can finally, maybe this year, stop working, that I can manage with all the activities I do around my brand, Sabine 3 Racing. I can stop working. Then I normally go home, I cook lunch for my family. Then I run off to my sports, because I normally do about 2 hours of sports every day. Either I do kickboxing, right now I cannot with my hand. Then I normally do like a circle training, a really intense one. And I go biking and all kinds of different things, but it all has a plan, it's not like planless. Then when I'm done with sports, I sit on the computer, I prepare the marketing strategies, I write emails out, I try to take care of Facebook, all the social media parts, I try to structure my team, I try to talk to all of the involved people, I take care of my partners and sponsors, I try to find new ones, of course, because if not, it's not gonna work. I try to prepare for days like this. You know.
You do a great job.
Yes. In between, we eat dinner together as a family. Sometimes my kids get mad at me if I'm not there with my head, because lots of times, you know, I don't know. It doesn't work to put it all together in some days. That's just the way it is.
That's just life.
Yes. Some days it works, and other days it doesn't work that well.
And usually in a year, how many events you have, competitions that you have to present?
Within the European Championship, we have 7 runs. That means we normally leave on Wednesdays, and we come back on Monday evenings if we go for a championship. And we start training, normally we start the first training session over Christmas and New Year's, and then at the end of January another one, and then intensively we start training in April. And the season starts normally in May.
Meaning you're constantly traveling?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
With the mobile home and a trailer.
And with the family?
Well, the kids are now a little bit older. Stana is 12 and Lucas is 15. They have to go to school. It's not that easy anymore. When they have vacation, they come with us. And if not, when they have school, my mom takes care of them.
Wow. What can I say? Do you have any question to her? Something that you'd like to ask her? Because we don't have too much time, but I guess you have something that's popping in your mind that you want Marcus. Oh, there's Marcus and Yama.
Do you get any support from your competitors? I mean, advice?
Yes, I get lots of advice, but I'm not too sure if I should take that too serious.
The competition even goes into unfairness.
Oh, of course, of course. You know, there's a lot of money involved. The European Championship costs 150,000 euros the way we do it, but we're a tiny little team. We're 3 people, and the people that work for me do it as volunteers. But the big teams, they come with a truck, they come with infrastructure. The 10 people work for them. So imagine how much that costs, you know? And yes. And I'm planning, or I have the opportunity for the first time to ride additionally to the European Championship next year in the World Championship for endurance for 24-hour races. It's the first time that a woman has ever the chance and the opportunity, because it's the most physical and the most hardest you can ever do. Imagine 24-hour races. But I don't have the budget together yet, so it's not for sure that I will do it. It depends if I find new partners. And this I have to find very soon, within the next couple of weeks, that I can say, yes, I will or not. So
you heard.
We will see
She doesn't
how
have the budget. Maybe someone who knows someone, networking.
Yes,
Okay?
networking. We'll see.
And there was a question there from Laura.
Sabine, I have to ask you, what is your internal, your personal motivation that when you hop on that bike, you're so focused, but what makes you just have to do it and want to do it?
Well, first of all, I believe in that everybody has a talent and a gift that's naturally given, and I think I've found what I can do the best, and I think that's racing a bike. That's really a gift. If not, there would be more women out there doing it, and I would not be one of the few ones in the whole world. And second of all, when I go on my bike and I'm out there, I'm racing, I have to be so focused. Every second has to be perfect. I have to be so concentrated, and it has to match, you know, from the physical to the mental, even to everything. It has to be a unit. Everything has to be a unit, even from the technical part of the bike. And this is very interesting, and I've never seen or done anything before where it has to match so well. And if one little part doesn't match, you cannot do it that day. And you have to accept it. If not, you're gonna crash. And I don't think there's anything else in sports out there. You know, if you sit in a car and you make a mistake, maybe you slide, you turn a little bit, but on the bike there, you cannot make mistakes, you're crashing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Any more other question? We are over time. Just the last one.
Even though you have had so many difficulties, and you still have, and I think it's really amazing the love that you have for it from all the point of view, you know, and the family and the work and this difference between the men and whatever. But what is that so rewarding, that worthwhile, all this trouble? I want to know.
It is, because like I said, it's so consuming of me. I have to bring all the best out of me outside, and I have to put it all together so much, and I have to want it so bad. If not, it's not working. And once I have those moments where it works really well, like this year, that day where I had that horrible crash, 3 laps before, I made track record on Hungaroring. It's a Formula 1 track. I was 4 seconds faster than the fastest woman was ever there. 4 seconds in motorsports is a world. It's like that other woman was on a different planet. I was only a couple seconds slower than the fastest man ever on a 1,000 cubic bike.
Wow.
This is like a result that will go into history. So this I can always, you know, it's like. And those are the moments, you know.
We have to go.
It's not a bad day for me, even that I had a crash. It's a moment I will never forget, you know.
Guys, I know you all have many questions. Sabine is going to be... No, you have to leave, no?
I have to leave,
yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
You know,
I have to leave.
we'll be in touch. I will send information, but we have to go. Time is up. The minute is up.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.